And Beardly is on 2P, as you could guess.
So our benefactor, so to speak, of the Soul Calibur community, I will never forget. Ooh. Wow, let's just starting off strong really quickly. I mean, you play Ivy, so you would know better than I would. I would imagine Mitsu has a relatively tough time with this fight.
Yes, if she is successful in keeping him at bay.
Yeah.
I think if BeardlyHere, you know...
No, sorry, I had a heart attack. Unblockable.
If BeardlyHere, you know, plays the proper... And, you know, it's really difficult to approach an Ivy who is actively keeping you out.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's completely, like, bad for him, per se. It's just the way he approaches the matchup.
It's just a huge obstacle course that he has to kind of go through.
Exactly.
I'm curious to see if we're going to see some... Wow, that whip. I'm curious to see if we're going to see... see some 1As to try and get away from some of the command grabs. But that being said, BeardlyHere tends to take a relatively more passive way around things. I don't really think that's going to work in a matchup like this. Because you're just going to end up pressing G for, I don't know, 95% of the match.
Okay. Right. And already what I'm seeing from him is, I think he used the perfect word, passive. He's kind of taking his time going in, which I guess you have to, but he has to play a little bit more aggressive. You see how that was just an opening. Ray went for 9B plus K. That has such a huge window. You can go in and you have enough time to go in and start your offense. And he kind of just went in and blocked. And that's what's going to like stop him from really getting anywhere in this matchup.
For the most part, what I'm seeing tends to kind of go around what BeardlyHere's major weakness has always been since he like started playing Soul Calibur, which is his reaction time when it comes to figuring out when something is punishable or when there's a certain opening is very slow. So the reason why he didn't go for anything, is he about to win this round? No, not just yet. I'm going to wait to finish my thought to see if he actually gets himself and he stole a bar. Okay. So he ends up making him spend 2 bars. If he ends up winning this round, it'll be a pretty big deal, but you have to get through... That's already safe! He didn't sidestep, though. Oh, there we go. So that's a pretty big deal, getting Ray off of his meter advantage. So you're going to potentially be able to, like, if you get, like, an early CE or just a start of the round 1A, that's the way to go as well. Okay, he's getting some punishes now. We're getting going. We're getting warmed up. I don't think he gets a ring out of this. No!
Hey, you know,
oh! he just like wrung himself out, except Ray decided to save him for some reason.
And you know, the last time we saw BeardlyHere on stream, it was sort of the same thing where it wasn't until he was on his like last potential loss that he really turned up the momentum. But I don't know if you can. Oh, there goes the nerf playing its role. You know, Ivy's command grabs, they don't do as much damage as they used to. Sad face, but that's what happens.
Vintage BeardlyHere match, dying with both bars. I don't think he spent literally a single bar the entire match. So I don't know so much, but hey, you know, this is a relatively small stage, the Astral Clock Tower. So I feel like spending Soul Charge where you don't necessarily have to worry too much about like the burst, like throwing Ivy away from you. It's not going to be as big of a deal, seeing as how there's just simply not a lot of room for Ivy to work with, right? So you can just keep going, and the burst away from the Soul Charges isn't going to be as big of a deal as it would be on larger stages.
Right, that's a good point. And again, we're seeing BeardlyHere do much better in this round.
Nice.
Breaks a CS. That is an accomplishment in itself. But
that gave him a back grab? Robbery! Why didn't he get a back grab out of that?
One of those things. You know, it was actually the direction in which his move came out, and that happens all the time too. So I'm not really surprised that kind of happened. But one of the things that I see Ray is fishing for, which is really good, is Ivy's 4/4B lethal hit. Mitsu has a really good AA to punish, I guess, and he's been fishing for that particular lethal hit.
Oh, that was supposed to be a 2-2A and getting jump A instead. I would imagine that in situations where Ray would be particularly nervous about playing around Mitsu AA, he doesn't really have to worry all that much. because AA has so much pushback to where just eating an AA as a punish, the spacing that Ivy would get back instead, I think would be more than enough to make up for it.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so I mean, if I was him, I wouldn't waste much time on it. But, you know, and also what he's doing here, he doesn't really have to go in. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm just speaking from my own experience. I would just play the keep out game, you know? Because the more BeardlyHere has to try to get in as Mitsu, it's going to work towards Ivy's favor.
So I think overall, as this match is kind of getting rounded out, I think one of the things that BeardlyHere can try and work on is the fact that what we ended up seeing was a lot of heavy commitment from a very long range away, to the point where Ray could whiff as Ivy and then be able to see what his Mitsu opponent was going to do and interact appropriately, right? And then once BeardlyHere was in, because he got so few opportunities to be in, I feel like he felt he needed to like really go for something that was huge, like kind of just wait a bit and then do a 3B, or wait a bit and then do a 1BB, some sort of like huge mix-up kind of thing, right?
Right.
But that's not necessarily what you have to do against a character that has such a heavy amount of a spacing game going at it. It's much more about, you want to be able to feel comfortable with the idea that an aggressive character being in front of Ivy's face is going to be threat enough to force the Ivy player to make a decision. And then at that point, you can just make the Ivy player take all the commitments themselves, and then when they start making mistakes, you don't fix it. You just keep letting it go as it is.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, rather than going for something like a 1BB for like a huge amount of damage all at one time, like what if he just went in and did like a 1K, and that's it? And then
or
like
even a 2A.
A 2A, you know, something like that. You would want to like try and catch him if he was like potentially statue blocking. But then like you do like a 1K, he's not really going to be able to punish it, right? Because he's going to be worried about the continuation of the string. He's going to just stand there and if you start doing stuff like BB and 3A, and you're not really committing all that heavily, right? You're just kind of allowing the situation to unfold until eventually the Ivy player takes a big bet themselves. Like, okay, fine, you know, the Ivy player's like, I'm sick of this, I won a CS, and then you just be like, 1A. And now I've allowed the Ivy player to kill themselves rather than me trying to be proactive.
What we have up? I am
This is Feremuntrus versus Ramon.
That can't be true.
It can, though. That's not what you're looking at. I mean, yeah,
all
right, you gotta make sure to.
I'm aware.
There is 100% not what that was. What that was.
There he goes. Well, Ramon.
There's a button check, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Ramon with Tira, we've seen him do this for a little while now. He's been practicing Tira. Feremuntrus was pretty heavy in terms of the online competitive scene for a while. Then he took a bit of a dip for a few months, and now it seems like he's back in the habit. And welcome back, Feremuntrus. Tira versus
but yeah,
Zas.
this is week 2 of Ramon, you know, getting his feel for Tira in tournament. He's definitely been running with this character. Last week he had, I would say, you know, mild success. And this week he's gonna keep going with her and see how it goes.
Yeah, you might as well. It's a free weekly tournament, right? There's no reason to feel like you have to like put all your eggs in one basket and go for the gusto each time. At a cursory glance, I mean, I don't play either of these characters, so I wouldn't know for sure. I would imagine that Tira has a relatively tough time with Zas, simply because the strengths that Tira has. I think about the ability to be able to press 4 a whole lot and escape the majority of pressure of the entire cast. But Zas's strings have a lot of range, so it's difficult to space out that kind of stuff, and he doesn't necessarily like whip all that often, just simply due to how long his appendages are. So, and Tira, I wouldn't imagine can really beat Zas in terms of the damage, but definitely could do it in terms of the pokes. That was a hell of a read. That was a threading of the needle that I've never seen before. It was amazing. Oh boy.
Oh no, definitely a whiffed CE from Ramon there. But yeah, that's also one of Tira's strengths. You know, she's really good at whiff punishing with her CE. And Zas, even though he has the range on her, if Tira makes the correct read at any point, and she has meters, she can essentially, whiff punish him.
Yeah.
Just like she did there. But yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with anything you said there in terms of what the matchup would look like. I think what also makes it difficult with Tira is, in addition to Zas and his range, when they do get up close, Zas's moves are so tricky, especially if you don't know the matchup. And you might think it's your turn to press button at certain intervals, and sometimes it's not. So it would be frustrating for Tira if she finally gets in and then she still can't press buttons. But Ramon took that last round. He's in Gloomy. He can definitely lay down some good damage here.
He also has the meter advantage. You just have to make sure that you're not going to get reverse rung out. The reverse ring outs definitely did get nerfed to a certain degree in the latest patch. Still pretty powerful, and if you want to talk about explosive damage, Jesus Christ. Feremuntrus was one of the first people that we saw during the COVID times of the Soul Calibur FGC, where that was really kind of establishing just the... Was that a little bit too late? Okay,
no, he barely made it.
He was in Jolly. That still killed in Jolly.
I thought it was going to be late as well, but he caught it right on the tail end.
Ended up getting Kodo off of that as well, so that's a pretty big deal. He just has to make sure that he isn't going to get wrung out. You still have some meter to kind of get through with regards to dealing with Feremuntrus. Okay, 4-6B out of nowhere. I'm sure that Ramon...
Akubo, please. File that under Akubo, please.
I really hope that Zas players are looking at that and just being like, "Oh my god, like that's so stupid! Like it's a ridiculous hitbox." Yeah, Zasalamel players. Yeah, you think that was a ridiculous hitbox? I feel no sympathy for you. Escalator. What is that called? No, never mind. Did he get hit by that? Oh, he did. He should have waited just a little bit. That's probably gonna kill. Yellow health, deep yellow health. Yeah, just enough. So
I mean, Feremuntrus just got really lucky with that one because Ramon had the read. He was just a little late on it.
Now that being said, he's in Coda. He's got 2 bars. Yeah, you can't whip against this character at this point, my guy. Now you thought Zas did heavy damage. It's gonna have to try and Ramon's just gonna effectively lane this out as much as he can. There's no reason at this point to take a big risk. Yeah, just immediately going back into the middle of the stage, not trying to... Still getting hit by random Bs.
Hey, in addition to Tira having 2 bars, Zas has none. So that takes his CE right off the table, and Ramon can freely apply pressure as he is taking the last round of that set. So that was totally his to win there. I mean, Feremuntrus, had control there at some point, but Tira and Gloomy with meter. It's a lot.
It was a bit too much to bear, but I did love the fact that I feel fully confident in the fact that Ramon got hit by 2 random 4-6Bs in the middle of strings, and he got upset enough to where at the very end of that round, he made Feremuntrus block something that was relatively safe, and then just immediately went for a launcher. Just be like, yeah, how do you like it? I have all the confidence in the world. That's exactly how Ramon felt when that happened. Oh, he's not going to be happy about that 4-6B either. He was stepping too. Nice block. He's got 1 stance change. That's not really enough for a round sack. Okay, here we go. Back into Jolly. Gets the headache. Don't he kind of overextended. I feel like he went for a 3B out of nowhere and then immediately tried to duck. I don't know so much.
Yeah, in that last part there, because he had managed to get Feremuntrus' health down to a certain point, I think he still thought it was his to win, which, with Tira, you can. Anything can happen in Soul Calibur, but, ooh, a nice lethal hit from Ramon, going to put some damage on the board. And, what he's been doing on Oki so far, running up and going for the sliding K, has really been working against Feremuntrus.
Yeah, overall, Ramon is able to... Oh, wow, don't get reverse ring out. Every single one of those is a reverse ring out. Is that a reverse ring out? No, right? Yeah, that's just damage. But he still has to worry about... This is a pretty awful stage for him to get, by the way. Yeah, that's going to be it. No, he screws up the combo.
Yes.
Ooh, Feremuntrus a little bit rusty.
Yeah, I think that's one of those just frame inputs for Zasalamel. It's unfortunate that it's so crucial to his combos because, you drop that, man, that just stings.
Yeah, but you know that's the sacrifice of the character, right? I mean, you take somebody like me who has some of the worst execution in the entire community. This is why I go out of my way not to play characters like this. Why did that do so much damage into a soul charge splat? Oh no, he went for a taunt. Except I'm sure he meant to do something else. No duck out of that string either. 8 stance changes, but he's probably gonna lose this round. He's got Coda. Okay, so Feremuntrus is able to pick it up with that unseeable low. Now he does have Coda, he does have meter, but he has some work to do. He has to make sure not to overextend himself. There we go. That's
speaking of overextending, I mean, what a whiff from Feremuntrus.
Yeah.
We call that Whiff City on this platform. Whiff City, whiff City. But
oh no.
Here goes some good damage from Feremuntrus. Manages to land a curse as well.
Ooh, Ramon getting a little bit too antsy. Decides to spend the VAR, probably to go back into Coda. But again, he still has some work to do. He just needs to make sure not to overextend. I appreciate the fact that once we get to this close amount of his 4-6Bs are very much not doing Ramon any favors. He's not particularly a fan of this. So it looks like very much is going to try and spend the bar to abuse the solid stage positioning to potentially just win this right away. Now he's not even in Coda, so that's a pretty big deal too. You just have to make sure not to get C'd.
Yeah.
He was actually able to whiff punish that. That's almost a... Wow!
Wow, he barely took that one.
Yeah, you can see him doing that slow-mo T-bag because, yeah, with all due respect to Ramon, he shouldn't have won that.
Really?
I mean,
I totally agree. Like, absolutely, that was his to lose. But now this looks like, you know, his to win. But Feremuntrus has 2 bars, so Ramon still has to approach with caution, even though he's in Coda and has meter.
I think
as Feremuntrus soul charge, and Ramon's gonna do a soul charge of his own.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. No, he overextends again. The only times that Ramon is losing here is because he overextends on stuff. He's getting a little bit overly ambitious, and I think that's just because, again, he's getting frustrated with the fact that Feremuntrus has the ability to do that just based off of things like 4-6B. And just effectively overextend. Unfortunately, just due to the hitboxes that we're seeing, Ramon has to respect that. So he wants to make Feremuntrus respect the same kind of thing. But yeah, Tira can't necessarily do that all that well.
Yeah, we're not seeing a stage switch. I thought, you know...
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. I think you want something... When you're the character that's all about moving around, I feel like you want more room to move around.
Right. Yes, I'm surprised we didn't get a stage switch, but, you know, there's already 2 curses on Tira here, and these 2 are tied up, and again, no duck, as you pointed out earlier.
Well, it looks like at that point he just got hit by it. Now, he doesn't have meter, and Ramon does. Okay, here we go. No. Ooh. He's got a lot of stance changes already. That's not going to kill him just yet. Oh, I like the AA there. That's not something that you see all that often. I guess he wants to save the meter for a potential CE punish, but don't overstep. Don't only look for that. Yeah, see, if he was clearly only looking for that, which is exactly why Feremuntrus didn't actually try to like catch him moving in or anything, because clearly Ramon wasn't trying to be aggressive. He wasn't actually trying to win the round in a proactive way. He was trying to react with his own CE. Oh, it didn't pick up.
Yeah, that was pretty telegraphed on his part. But I mean, at that point, do you really blame him? Oh, here we go with an early RE that did nothing for him. Seems like Ramon is kind of falling apart here. This is the most... That was the most, like, Feremuntrus has taken his health so quickly during that last round. Ramon is on the wall. His back is against the wall here. He does have 2 bars, so he has something to work with, but...
It's difficult, though, because, like, the second that you press Soul Charge, Feremuntrus is just going to immediately back up, and then, even though you're in Soul Charge, he still has the... See? He immediately is backing up to the edge of the stage, because it's Zasalamel. Again, I really feel like Ramon would have been better off picking a different stage. Oh, okay. I couldn't tell if he actually got hit by it. See, every single one of these hits, if he gets hit by one of them, he's out. Okay, here we go.
But, you know, and there goes the Soul Charge, just like you said.
Yeah.
And I mean, now I would think would be the time to really go in as Tira now that you've gotten Feremuntrus off of his bar. But, you know, it's still his to win, it looks like. Here goes some damage.
Oh my God, some damage. It was like so much more than I expected. All right, You can do this, Ramon. Oh, he had the right block, but it ended up getting whiffed instead. But yeah, Feremuntrus ends up taking that. To be honest, I think that the game plan was overall correct from Ramon. It's just that I really wish they'd picked a different stage when he lost. I would be very interested to see what would happen if he got something like the castle stage, where it's like gigantic and everything, and then you have all the room in the world to roam around. You know?
Yeah.
And you can actually use that bar to your advantage. For the most part, Tira's ability to use the bar was stunted just due to the fact that the second that there's a soul charge around, Zas is just going to back up. All he has to do is back up like 5 feet, and he has a 50-50 like ring out, reverse ring out situation. So it's difficult to kind of lean on any kind of meter advantage in that degree.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. He needed more room to kind of roam around and get his whiff punish on, which is something Tira is extremely good at, especially if she's in Gloomy.
Alright guys, I'm gonna show this match arena for a bit.
Way.
See where we're at right now. I gotta put it on screen. Give me a sec. Alright guys, once again, if you guys are enjoying this tournament, please make sure to check out the match arena for the event. Ian is just blowing it up constantly. You can use the promo code SAVE_NLBC159. You'll donate 50 cents for free to the prize pool. Right now we're at $32, so help us out if you can, guys. Go check out the special sponsor quest on the bottom and the right hand side to donate even more free from G Fuel Energy, Rig Gaming, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you to everybody who has donated so far. And remember, a portion of these proceeds go to Next Level. They go to cover the Cloud Parsec instances and everything. So we always appreciate what you can give over here. Who do we have up?
So, this is going to be Yoshi6 versus Saiyne.
Ooh.
So, okay, Yoshimitsu the Sixth is really crazy, but I don't think there's anybody in the Soul Calibur community that's crazier than Saiyne, both in and out of the game.
Yes, absolutely. If you want to talk about crazy in terms of bombastic, questioning, screaming, like I have had so many moments where I am yelling at
hilarious
my screen, or I'm yelling in the crowd at Saiyne, wanting to know what is going through his mind.
Nobody's
literally
ever
cannot
been able
predict.
to figure it out.
Yeah, you literally cannot predict what.
If you ask him, it's the 20th wonder of the world. And you might ask him, what are the first 19? And he'll just like start dancing. He'll put on a flappy hat and he'll just like fly away. It's really weird how he's able to fly. Nobody talks about that.
Absolutely.
He's going with Tira?
Yes, and I quote, because we were both in Ramon's stream earlier prior to this, and his quote was, "Tira is a bad bitch." So,
yeah,
I am not
against Yoshi, I can totally see this character being the way to go, because very opposite from what we were talking about with Zas, I don't think that Yoshi does have the ability to really catch Tira moving around anywhere near as well. When he does catch you, his mix-ups are a lot stronger, and his reverse ring-out game, which is kind of surreal to say, but his reverse ring-out game is probably a lot stronger than Zas's is. So I'm curious to see if that ends up... he's just essentially going to do this. He's just going to do this over and over again until Yoshi the Sixth actually provides him a reason to not back up. Going for GIs immediately. Oh, okay. Heavy bet.
And I mean... what a treat to see like two Tiras back to back, and that's one of the great things about Soul Calibur in general, because the game has so many layers. You can see the same character played by several people, and they'll be totally different playstyles.
And it's also
we're
important to
already
note
seeing that.
Yeah, it's also important to note the fact that you will see virtually every character, even the characters that we would consider bad. I'm not saying that Tira or Yoshi are bad, but compared to the rest of the cast, characters like Voldo or like Mitsu would probably be some of like the worst characters around. But in terms of do you actually see them in tournament? Correct me if I'm wrong, but Manta is in this tournament. So, and he looks like he's doing fine. In fact, he's going up against Kashi next as I'm looking at the bracket. So there's a chance that a Voldo versus Mitsu match will actually be happening relatively soon in this very tournament.
Should I stream that one?
I mean, Voldo. Well, Kashi will probably go Mina, right? That's for history to decide, Ian. I will let you figure out what you want to do. I do agree with having Thermidor versus Party Wolf for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But
wow,
Yoshi taking the first round, but Saiyne answering back and ending with a teabag.
Of course.
Starting off in gloomy. Let's see what he's gonna do here. But
wow, what a bet. It's pretty stacked up when it comes to stance changes. Already at 1-1. Now he's just kind of letting Yoshi the Sixth kind of like weather storm. He gets the GI on the third hit. Okay, it's not very many people who try to do that. This is what Ramon wanted to do the whole time. But you can't do that against us. You can definitely do it against Yoshi.
Hashtag Whip City. We just need to add a song. And just play it. Whip City.
Like Detroit Rock City, but Whip City.
No, there's a rap song called Rack City. I wasn't sure if you were serious or not.
No, I like the fact that Saiyne was teabag. But if you're telling me that there is a rap song, well, I mean, I know this is the first time that we're commentating together. You're barking up the wrong tree. I'm very sad. I cannot.
And you know what? That
is
Ian's fault because he told me to get ready for my 80s reference or something like that.
Yeah, 80s
and
rock
another
references,
one.
Not rap. What am I gonna do? What is? Wait, hold on a second. What is 80s rap? I mean,
Listen,
like the
we're
Sugar
dropping
Hill
this
Gang,
conversation.
End of List.
I'm going back to the match. Nice whip punish with Saiyne.
Okay, fine. Somebody wants to talk about Soul Calibur or whatever. I can do that.
Oh my god.
Yoshi with the bar, but Tira with the Coda. Holy shit, that was a lot of damage. Okay,
and
well,
again, for him to, and this is what I'm talking about with Saiyne, right? For him to like even think about taunting right in Yoshi's face.
Yeah.
That is something Saiyne would do. He would jump backward and taunt, and it just that's totally on brand for him.
I'm trying to remember all the different characters I've seen Saiyne play. Obviously known for his Ivy. I've seen him play Tira in the past before. I don't know if you remember like the very small section of time where he decided that like he was going to try Mitsu for a while. That was before people realized that Mitsu like had a tough time actually forcing Mitsu.
Oh, guys, Graffiti Souls with $100 in cash. Thank you so much, Graffiti Souls. Dropping the hundo.
Guys, let's make it so that we can get $100 to the Matcherino for every time that Saiyne ends up going for a teabag after a combo in this set. So as long as we can get to $14,000, we might be able to match up with the numbers.
Oh, you'd be broke if you gave to the Matcherino every time he teabagged. Man.
Even if you did it for like every $1. Ooh, nice sidestep there. Fantastic punish. He has these gloomy setups and gloomy combos. Fantastic.
And you know, this is a conversation I was trying to have online earlier. I was wondering is Tira the new flavor of the month? Is that the current flavor of the month, or?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's difficult to say. I don't necessarily keep up on the most popular trends and stuff like that. I'm not particularly interested in playing Tira, but I feel like overall, people have just decided that this is what we're going to do right now. Saiyne playing Tira. 8-Way has been playing Tira since forever. Nice combo. Nice wall combo. Getting the perfect there. Only 4 stance changes, so Saiyne's in a little bit of a bad way here. He has the bar, but he's not actually ahead in the bar, seeing as how Yoshimitsu the Sixth has his bonus.
But again, with City, you do not want to do that against a Tira with bar.
So just to make sure I understand this whole whiff city thing, are you saying that New York is the city for whiffs? That sounds a bit disparaging. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, so
I want to make sure that I understand.
Now I have to explain it.
Okay.
So there's a song called Rag City, right? But when I hear it, I just replace the word Rag City with Whiff City, and in my mind I just sing it along to the same beat. So every time I'm commentating and I see a big whiff like that, which like Soul Calibur is so critical, I just think of Whiff City. So it wasn't meant to be like anything. But you know,
So is it like
Shout out
Detroit
to
Rock
Ender
City?
J, because he actually put this thought in my head too. He had this thing on Twitter, I think a few months ago, where he did like I want to say he wrote rap, but he did something on Twitter for specific to Cervantes.
Oh, Cervantes rap, huh?
And I jumped in. I jumped in
really
and did an
okay.
Ivy version. It was a whole thing, but anyways, Saiyne.
I'm sorry. I just got to say, throughout that entire time, I was thinking to myself, wow, Saiyne's ability to pull that back with no meter, never even got Coda. He got close to it, but he never even had that. Through no traditional comeback mechanics, being able to weather the storm out of 2 Yoshi soul charges, that was very impressive. Didn't get hit by a wall combo, didn't get hit by a ring out, a relatively small stage, and being able to pull something like that off. That would be like if he was from Whiff City. Am I doing it right, or did I don't know.
We'll give you a pass for tonight.
So it's not like
to it.
Yeah, is it? So it's not like Detroit Rock City. It's like something.
Absolutely not. I don't even know what that is.
So Detroit, it's like a rock and roll city. So it's like Detroit Rock City. Is it like that song "We Built the City on Rock and Roll," except it's rap or whips or whatever?
It is absolutely not. No.
All right, well, those are all the city songs that I know. So I ran out of
Clive, I tried to warn you. I'm sorry.
Oh my god. No, this is good.
What do we have up,
some
guys?
sort of monster.
Coming up is Manta versus Kashi.
Okay. Now we all have to pray
it.
that we're gonna see Mitsu versus Voldo. In my opinion, I mean I can't imagine that's what Kashi's going to go. I don't know why you would.
No, he's going to
go. Would have a very difficult time just getting in and trying to actually do stuff and force mix-ups on Voldo. Not to mention a very squirmy, slippery Voldo in Manta. The slipperiest Voldo. We even saw him in the Slip-Out tournament. Hashtag Parsec streams. But
absolutely. And
meanwhile, you have Mina, where you don't. Okay, I guess.
Oh my god.
Well, la-di-da. Kashi going out of his way to make me look like a jerk.
Yo, thank you to Zahir for the $20 donation.
Did you guys see SC being a scripted series like that?
Yeah, and I'm surprised he's going Mitsu as well, because the last time we saw him fight Manta, he totally went with Sungmina and did really well. You know, she can handle this matchup fine, but let's see what he's gonna do with the Mitsu, because Manta's one of those players that he's going to take advantage of the fact that you don't know the matchup, and it can become very frustrating to play against him.
God, and he didn't really get a particularly good stage. I think that the larger the stage is, the harder it's going to be for Mitsu. I mean, yeah, you got this backdash, but see what I mean? Like, he's Manta and just Voldo in general, his ability to just eliminate his own hurt boxes is so difficult to deal with. Kashi got nothing out of that round. No meter, no round win, no respect from me.
Yeah, and I agree about with the note about the stage. I think he should absolutely change the stage after this. Well, if he loses, he should.
Or hell, just change the character. I just do that. I think what's gonna happen here is, like, the idea is we're gonna play for this round, and only one round has gone by. I don't mean to call the bell too early. Kind of wish that I was about to say I kind of wish that Kashi had gotten a CE punish. That I forgot. He still doesn't have bar. He still has not met 1 bar, while Manta already has 2. And see, I mean, okay. So I think I got an idea. So the idea is that he wants to try and abuse the fact that Voldo is absolutely terrible at punishing things that are like -12. So 3B is actually a relatively safe thing for him to do. But I don't know, man. Oh, wow, what a fantastic jump. Gets the lethal hit because it's only the second one hit. Boy, howdy. I mean, good luck, Kashi. I think that what's going to happen is that he's not even necessarily going to be caring about the stage. He's just going to switch characters after this.
Yeah, and I mean, exactly what we're seeing from Manta here. Like, this is what he's so good at. Just sort of like stepping back and just with punishing and going in at the perfect time. And he's just so difficult to keep in one place. I mean, the character himself is difficult to keep in one place, let alone in the hands of someone like Manta. So we're absolutely going to see just a stage change and not a character switch. I am surprised.
Okay, Kashi. You know what? Color me surprised and impressed if you're able to pull this off. I don't mean to disparage you. I just mean to say that if the objective here was to actually win this game, you know what, Kashi, I don't think that you actually wanted to win this game. I think you wanted to play Mitsurugi.
But you know, we have a smaller stage. Maybe this might help him. But
it'll help for sure. See, again, that 3B is going to go basically unpunished. Really, the only thing that Manta could do is do something like a 2A. I don't really know how Mitsu would abuse the fact that that the while rising punish that Voldo has is pretty awful as well. I'm not sure how he would do that, but hey. Okay, good punish.
Nice whip punish. Oh,
Gets
gets
the
a
grab.
back grab.
Back grab, very important. Okay. I kind of feel like that might have been a bit of an overextension. I feel like he could have gone for a low that wouldn't have been so unsafe. But hey, it ended up working out anyway. Yeah, you can't necessarily try and whip punish him from there, my friend.
Yeah.
That's not really going to work.
And on top of that, he's going to have to be careful with his stance transitions too, because as we just saw, Voldo could just crawl his way so quickly to Mitsu if he's still in his stance and punish him. So gotta watch those stance transitions. But he's doing much better.
Yep. Yeah, what with the fact that it seems like Manta is actually engaging now? I mean, obviously the guard gauge isn't working out for Kashi, but for the most part, getting Manta to actually go in on him seems to really be helping out. And he's getting these fantastic punishes just kind of out of nowhere. I really like that.
Oh god, but here comes Soul Charge Voldo. Definitely a lot to deal with, but nice sidestep from Kashi.
I like the fact that there was that little exchange where he didn't go with... Oh, wow! Jump forward to get away from that. Shades of Voldo, and he got a ring out.
And got a ring out. Wow. He
I
really shut me up.
Yeah, I really hope that Kashi tells me to go screw myself once he wins this set.
And, you know, his gauge was blinking red, so, I mean, that was such a good... he was positioned... He had a good position, period.
Right.
Because up by 2 rounds, he had meter. It was a good spot for Kashi, but now we're going into a final round. We got another stage switch.
Yo, thank you for donating, JJJ. I see $50 and the code.
It was a little bit easier, but with the fact that I actually had a balance in my Matcherino from yesterday.
Nice. You won something? You won an
I
exhibition?
won exactly one thing.
Nice.
Except in the sense of I won Jordan deciding to keep me on his team for a 2v2 tournament. That's what I won.
And Kashi wins the first round with a perfect.
Yeah, I don't entirely understand what is the difference between this game and the first game.
Could be the stage.
Yeah, but this stage is relatively big too. I wouldn't have imagined that it would make Manta decide to go in so much more than he normally does. That's going to be a ring out. Okay, so 1 bar to 1 bar. We'll
Oh my god,
if it ends up
post-win
working out.
shenanigans in Soul Calibur are so funny to watch.
No duck on that second hit of the 66AA. I don't really know what happened there. Yeah, I just feel like Manta may have gotten a little bit too overzealous before. Uh-oh. You put yourself in a bad situation. He's gotta have to spend bar to get out of there. Jumps over the 2-2K. That was cool.
Yeah, and this is a good soul charge from Kashi as well. Try to keep Manta in place. As you can see here, both players showing each other a lot of respect, but launcher
Nice.
from Kashi.
Just the first hit of the 236A to put him in a situation where the 1BB would actually end up working. The GI doesn't end up working, he gets the BB. Kashi just 1 round away from telling me to go screw myself.
And I mean, it's just amazing to see how quickly Kashi turned this entire thing around. But let's not count Manta out yet. He has Kashi in a very good position to apply some good pressure here.
Overall, I think what he wants to do is try and like limit like the guard gauge. But for the most part, Manta also just has to like not put himself in positions like this. See what I mean about the overextension? Like, all that damage that he took from basically just going off of a read that he didn't need to do at all. He decides to go with the CE. He has yellow life, so it's going to do a good amount of damage. Plus, you're going to have a relatively good Oki here. Kashi with no bar to respond back, so we'll see how this ends up going. Okay, decides to go for the low. That's not going to kill just yet. Very close.
Oh,
Nice
he gets
duck.
the mix-up, but he has 1 bar, and he's going to use it. I don't know about this one.
I mean, he gets a bonus bar for the assuming that he loses his round, which he doesn't end up doing. Okay, fine, Kashi. I'm sorry. Okay? You don't have to taunt Manta to try and like project to me. Okay, I get it. I apologize for doubting you, and telling everybody in my life that you were wrong.
But that was really, compared to how the first game went into how it ended, I mean, what a set from Kashi. Really good stuff from him. Congrats to him for winning and sending Manta to losers, where, you know, Manta is no easy feat, so.
So the next one, I'm going to guess in my mind's eye is going to be Pardo versus Thermidor, but I'm going to let Ian tell me if I'm wrong or right.
It's going to be Snow versus Exander.
I was wrong. Oh, Ian, why did you have me on commentary? All I do is spin lies to people. I have to
Maybe you
admit
should
it.
just not do that.
What, just not talk? But then why did you have me on commentary?
No, just like talk, but with truths instead of lies.
I don't understand the premise of what you're talking about.
Yikes.
All right.
I'm not entirely sure I get.
All right, Jay, for now, let's just stick with the lies, and we'll talk about how to fix this later.
Now that's something that I can get into. Now we're cooking with gas. So you said Snow versus Exander. Exander, one of our quintessential guardians with Cervantes. Though I think that he's been playing Hilda recently a lot more often. So let's see if he ends up going with Hilda a lot more. Snow, if I remember correctly, is an Ivy player, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if you were familiar with Snow, because I have not seen his name. I mean, I've seen his name in tournament, but I've not seen him play. So I'm not exactly sure, like where Snow is from, who he plays. You know,
all I know is
I don't know anything about Snow. So
if
hi,
this is
Snow.
the person I'm thinking of, I just happened to see them in ranked once, and they were very defensive and they played Ivy. That's what I remember of them. If it's the person I'm thinking of. Other than that, no idea.
Well, any Ivy main is a friend of Carbon Climb, so welcome, Snow.
I see somebody in the chat saying Snow, the white guy who sang Informer. That was Informant. So it's important to remember that we get the name of the song titles correct.
And that's on period from JJ.
Yeah, I look you boom boom down.
And there we go. We do have Ivy versus Cervantes, and I was just playing Exander in the Boominati tournament that just passed on Thursday. I played him, and it was really, really close. So he's definitely familiar with this matchup. I'm interested to watch this just to see how Snow does in this particular matchup, because as you know, we discussed earlier, you know, you can have a set of players play the same character and just see the character function completely differently. But already no punish on the 3B. Snow cannot let damage off the table when you're facing Cervantes.
So, what would you say is the difference from... I assume that you played Ender's J quite a lot as well, just considering the region and everything. What would you say is the difference between how Exander plays this matchup and how Ender's plays this matchup?
I would say...
Nice
Ender J, he has his movement is different. You know, full disclosure, I have not played Ender J in quite some time. The last time I played him was before COVID.
Okay.
I would like to think I play differently now. I would hope so. I think I would be able to handle the matchup much differently now than before. But his movement always sticks out to me. He has a way of moving towards you, sidestepping, that makes me as a player want to press more buttons. And that's significantly different from Exander, who is more... It's still the same movement, but he's going to press the right buttons in your face, as he's doing right now.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be having much of a hard time with what's going on right now. Again, I feel like Snow has a relatively defensive style, which is normally totally fine, but unfortunately, as you were talking about at the beginning of the match, if you let stuff like 3B on block just kind of go free, or stuff like A slide B like that go free without any sort of block punishment, and then defensive style kind of falls apart, right? Like, if you're not actually getting the damage that your opponent is providing to you, then you're not even necessarily playing the game. You're just kind of allowing the Cervantes player to do whatever they want and not get punished for it. So you either going to have to be significantly more aggressive, or you're going to have to tone it down to the point where you're prepared to do the small punishes that you're going to end up getting with how Exander plays.
Yeah, because, you know, Cervantes is one of those characters where you have to open him up. No matter who plays the character, you have to open him up. And if you're going to play defensive, then you have to zone or something. You know what I mean? You don't want Cervantes in your face doing things like this.
Like this, yeah.
You know, so, and I'm already seeing that difference visually from how I play this matchup versus Exander in particular, you know? You kind of have to, you don't want Cervantes in your face like this. If he's going to come in and be aggressive and press all the right buttons, you kind of have to do something. And right now, Snow, he's not really doing anything.
Yeah. I think, honestly, the main point is you wouldn't even necessarily have to be proactive about it. You could also just, as long as you were actually getting the punishes on some of these things. So, for instance, that's the third time that he's ended up using that that launcher that kind of puts him into a standing stun for a combo. And please, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it is unsafe, but he didn't punish it the first time. So now it feels like Xander's just kind of going buck wild with it, because why wouldn't you?
Again, no punish on the 3B. You know what I mean?
Well, now he's in soul charge, so it's a little bit scarier to do.
There you go.
Yeah. Whoa, hey, why did that whiff? Why did that whiff? Oh boy, I don't know what's going on anymore.
All right, well, Snow's in soul charge. He could possibly do some damage here. And one of the things, please, Ivy community, we are not using 6BB enough in soul charge. I don't know why. You know what I mean? Like, this would be a perfect case to use 6BB if you're going to soul charge as Ivy. 6BB is your friend. Now, I mean, if you have an opponent who likes to sidestep, I mean, you could easily sidewalk it if you see it coming. But in the situation that Snow was in, where he's playing super defensive and Exander is in his face, you can use the 6BB to create some space and force plus frames. There's so many things you can do, and I feel like Snow could not get anything started in that matchup, and that allowed Exander to just really run wild with it.
If anybody happens to know whether that was the first time that he has been in one of these tournaments, I'd be curious to know.
This is Snow's first time in NLBC.
NLBC specifically. Okay, so you know, there's a relatively good chance that maybe he wasn't entirely comfortable with the format. Maybe he's potentially new to the tournament scene.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's normally used to having ranked opponents allow him to do that kind of stuff. So, you know, maybe that was the thing. I can't entirely say for sure. If he gets the punishes down to where he's not letting stuff that's -12 and -14 happen with such consistency, you're going to see Exander and other Cervantes player play in a much different kind of style. They're going to play a lot more reserved, because you don't even necessarily have to take a big read. You can just pick up the damage that that provides to you.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And again, as someone who's faced those Cervantes, they definitely look for those. And I mean, I would say most Soul Calibur players look for those.
Quick interruption. This is Party Wolf versus Thermidor.
Yeah.
Ooh. So wait, before the match, I just want to finish that thought. Most Soul Calibur competitive players look to see if you have knowledge of their character. Mm-hmm. So if you're not punishing correctly, they're going to run away with it. And see now.
All right, well, in that case, I would also like to talk about something before this matchup starts. It seems that the Twitch chat is telling me that it was actually Informer, not Informant, and everybody is expecting me to apologize. I will not apologize. You guys were just talking about the American version, but in the Canadian version, it was called Informant. So, you know, that's what I decided to go with.
He said what he said.
Yeah, I'm sticking to it. Now, Cassandra versus Nightmare. I don't really know. Okay, la-di-da.
Ooh, what
that's a lot of damage.
Oh my god.
Too. We don't get to see a lot of Cassandra. Basically, Party Wolf is the only person, shoutouts to Partisan, but basically the only Cassandra player that competes in any of these things. All right, gets the pickup. Huge amount of damage. Now, what I would really like to know is if what exactly Cassandra has that can break the armor to a consistent degree. Because I would imagine a lot of the small pokes that we typically see from Cassandra that have really good frames to couple with her good movement aren't actually going to beat the armor that Nightmare has, in which case they're kind of a null-sum game.
Yeah, and I mean, the only move I could see that might be able to beat it, and I don't exactly know the notation, but all the Cassandras, well, particularly online, but when they go into Soul Charge and they go into...
the Beyblade?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'll be
that move.
But spending meter just to every time to try and beat
right.
it's going to be a it's going to be a rough game. Just in case you guys don't know how Cassandra is typically played, obviously Party will be able to explain it better than I could, but Cassandra has incredibly good movement, fantastic frames both in speed and in safety on a lot of her pokes, but her damage outside of Divine Force combos isn't exactly the strongest in the world, especially when compared to characters like Nightmare, and so it's a lot of bobbing and weaving, and you're going to have to hit your opponent a lot of times. It might be slightly different, what with the fact that you're dealing with Nightmare, because again, you're going to have to deal with that armor quite a lot. 2 bars to 1. Okay, from the top rope.
Yeah,
From the top rope!
And it looks like Thermidor finally was able to get something started against Cassandra. And again, like you pointed out, even though she might struggle in terms of the armor versus him, I think just her pokes alone are still superior,
yeah,
and could still be like annoying for Nightmare to deal with. But again, we're talking about Party Wolf and Thermidor, who, I mean, 2 amazing players. Who, look at this.
He tried. Oh, that's actually safe to the. Okay, even if you fully charge it up, it's totally safe to it. That's kind of funny.
I don't even know what just happened.
It was a 2K charge, and the second hit activated Nightmare CE, but it was still safe to it. And that's going to give Party Wolf the first game. I did just see in the Twitch chat a Nightmare player indicated to me that Cassandra's Wall Rising B can beat Nightmare armor, which I wasn't aware of. And if that's the case, never mind, Cassandra doesn't have any problems dealing with Nightmare armor whatsoever.
Thermidor is going to be complaining on every platform after that.
On every
He's going to be
platform.
complaining about something after like the one round that he won. He won because he just hit his opponent 4 times with safe stuff. God, I really wish I was sitting down when I heard that he was going to complain about things.
Good old Thermidor.
All the blood's rushing to my head.
But we, well, not nice, but we got a stage switch. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's really gonna make a difference. The only difference I'm thinking is actually being able to ring out.
Yeah, it's a pretty neutral stage overall, but it is important to note that Nightmare has the ability, with Terror Charge, Nightmare has the capability of ringing out basically from the middle of the stage. So I would say that this is probably kind of bad news bears for Party Wolf when compared to the last stage.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow,
But
look at that guard damage that he's doing to himself. Okay, gets a huge combo here. Does he get? He doesn't get it.
yeah,
Tries to
Party
catch
Wolf
back
is, he's really been applying the pressure just really well, but this back throw is going to do a lot of damage. Oh, misses the side. You know, on Oki, if Party Wolf had just sidestepped just a little bit more, this match would have been over. But it's over nonetheless.
It's really scary to sidestep off of that AGA. A lot of it can be pretty scary to do something like that to Nightmare. I also like the fact that Party Wolf is now abusing some of the stuff where when he gets guard broken, when he does guard damage to himself, he can actually provide himself additional lethal hits. And they're off of moves that are typically unsafe, but to Nightmare, I mean, that's Nightmare's biggest weakness, right? Is not being able to punish stuff that a lot of other characters, in fact, all of them, can potentially punish otherwise.
And again, we're definitely seeing Thermidor slow it down a lot. And he's really just trying to go off of the whiff punish, really going for these giant swings. As Party Wolf's gauge is blinking red, is he going to break the armor this round? No, he's not.
Party Wolf probably would have wanted that to be the case, because again, he provides himself additional lethal hits once his guard is broken, and that round was basically over anyway, but I just wanted to go back. Did anybody see that mix that Party Wolf did? The quintessential dash forward, freestyle 3B, and he's running out.
And this is exactly what you were...
No!
Is it? No, off axis.
Is that really, like, he couldn't do anything about... I call BS on that. I'm very confident that Nightmare would have been able to ring out there with the correct combo.
Yep, gonna file that under a Kubo, please.
No, please don't do that for Thermidor. he has complained to Akubo enough. He's gotten everything he wanted and more.
All right, here goes Nightmare Soul Charge.
Look at that chip damage. Jesus Christ.
And able to take it right down to the last moment. Now he is up. You know, this could potentially be the final round. But
again,
Party Wolf with 2 bars, this is good for Cassandra.
yeah, it's just, again, the problem is this effectively means that if Party Wolf is wrong about 166k, once Nightmare has Terror Charge, he's going to be dead, assuming that Thermidor doesn't screw up the combo. So he's got to be very, very careful. He was already being pretty careful. He's going to end up getting this round, except he's not, except he is. We're going to have 2 bars to 1.5, which effectively means that Nightmare is virtually guaranteed his second bar for this next game. So, okay, first time that we've seen... okay. Oh, that was fully charged up. That's an unblockable.
What a way to open up the round.
Vintage? Now you want to talk about vintage Thermidor. That's vintage Thermidor. Okay, he's going to spend the lightning strikes to gain back some guard damage, I presume. Nice hit. Has another bar. He probably wants to spend it before Thermidor gets his second one.
And Party Wolf has been on point with just hitting Thermidor out of any Grimstride sequences. He has not landed any of them yet. He's just been interrupting them perfectly.
Oh no, is that it? He's in Soul Charge. This is going to do a ton of damage. He goes for the low. Yes, that unblockable starts off as a low, and if you don't know, now you know.
Yeah, now I do know. I didn't even know.
You didn't know about that? Yeah, it's a very
No, I did not. I thought that was just going to be like a regular horizontal.
No, you have to. Somebody in chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but the unblockable starts off as a low attack.
Is that a low horizontal?
Yeah.
Why?
Just
Who
jump
would do such a thing.
Nightmare has jump 9k.
Hate it. We're about to head into winners quarterfinals. Art, I think this is like the perfect time to talk about the Matcherino.
Oh, yeah. And chill it up. Alright, guys, so... One sec. Got too many windows going. Right now, we are at $216. Thank you guys all so much for your support. Make sure to keep supporting the tournament, guys. Definitely with this type of event, you know, there's a lot of mouths to feed. Save NLBC 159 to donate 50 cents to the prize pool free. Check out the special sponsor quest from G Fuel Energy, Rig Gaming, Twitter Quest, YouTube Quest, Twitch Quest. Thank you to the top 5 donors. A portion of these proceeds go to NYC Next Level. They go to the players, and they go to help cover the cloud parsec instances. So we definitely appreciate anything you can give. Once again, save NLBC 159 is the code. And make sure to click all of those special sponsor quests like I mentioned. Or check out the marketplace if you want an item. Thank you.
Alright. Here's the deal. We got winners quarterfinals coming up. I'm going to stream all of that. We got Incendiate versus Rikuto. We got Party Wolf versus RayVRC. We got Exander versus Kashi. And we got Saiyne versus Windcharmer.
Some matches I think we've seen quite a few times before. Some matches I can't.
We got our first.
Yeah, that sounded like a pretty stacked lineup. Should be some good matches.
To be expected from what was it, winners quarters in NLBC.
Yep, definitely.
All right, so this is my new thing. I want to tell everybody about it. What I'm doing is anytime I call up a list of folks like I just did, the first pair to respond to me in Discord gets to be on stream first. So that
is smart. I like that a lot. Now nobody, I don't know if you've been getting sour grapes from anybody, but now nobody can give you sour grapes. Because,
no. This is entirely just for my own sanity. Yeah. Speaking of which, the first 2 people up are Saiyne and Windcharmer. So
speaking of sanity, Saiyne.
Exactly.
The exact opposite of sanity. So okay, presumably Tira versus presumably Talim. Windcharmer had not really been playing the game up until recently, and so it's great to see that he's back and he's actually going to be competing in a lot of these things. He was in the 2v2 tournament yesterday as well, and obviously Saiyne. Both of these players kind of taking a dip in between COVID times, coming back to the competitive scene, well, of what there is for it.
Yeah, when I remember when actually going against Windcharmer when when COVID first sort of took over our lives. And that, as you said, he definitely took a break from it. But like I said, he came back to NLBC specifically. It was the first time he came back last week and did pretty well. But I'm interested to see this matchup because, Talim is just one of those characters, man. Sticks on you like white on rice. I would put Amy in the same category as well. And I don't know. Against Tira, I don't think I've seen this.
What if it's brown rice?
Okay, I mean, Talim in yellow,
At that point, it's a complex carb. I would imagine it can be difficult for Talim to really stick to Tira. I imagine it's a problem for any character to stick to Tira. Now, it's important to note that Windcharmer just did something that was -14, and Saiyne didn't pick up on it. So it's important information for Windcharmer to have as the game goes on. Wow, just hitting Saiyne over and over again. None of that was actually necessarily a full combo. That was just Saiyne being incorrect about what to do and where to go over and over again. Ooh, nice duck.
But nice duck, yeah. Definitely. That's one of those moves from Talim. Her 6-6B. High, totally duckable.
Now I'm trying to think about, there was a Tira/Hilda player named ATB that I believe Windcharmer has a relatively solid amount of experience against. So there is a chance that Windcharmer is going to have the matchup knowledge over Saiyne in this matchup.
Saiyne definitely has the Talim experience, but it just doesn't look like it's working out for him.
Where does he have the Talim experience? Is there a Talim?
GGG, Grandma's Got Game?
Oh, sure, okay.
Yeah. I definitely studied that, because when I had my moment of trying to figure out the Talim matchup, it's definitely one of the places I saw him play it. So I think he definitely has the experience, but maybe it's just a little rusty, but it looks like he's picking something up as he transitions back to Jolly, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's got the 6 stance change, so not too much longer, but I definitely can see what you're talking about with both of them kind of bobbing and weaving. Going for the GI, that's actually pretty dangerous, because she has a break attack in that situation now. So Windcharmer's definitely going to lose this round, but he picked up, if he was paying attention, he picked up a lot of important information so far in this game alone. There's a handful of things where Saiyne is taking some pretty big bets that could be punished pretty heavily. Curious to see if Windcharmer decides to go for it, though.
Yeah, and again, that last round ending, total whiff city. But, Windcharmer is going in with the pressure, trying to get back to something. He's on 2 bars, definitely going to use one, and now Talim in Soul Charge. A lot to handle, but again, Saiyne showing his knowledge of the matchup, knowing when he can interrupt with a Soul Charge to get out of that potential pressure.
Now he's going to be going through... Oh, wow, fantastic sidestep there. Again, some pretty big bets. Doesn't have that additional mechanic that Talim just got pseudo recently. This is going to kill. Going to come pretty close. Has the bar. Decides to go for a soul attack as opposed to what people normally do with the CE. Did anybody notice that... okay, so Windcharmer ends up getting that. Did anybody notice that in the middle of the string, Saiyne didn't even attempt to try and duck the potential low out of that new string? Again, some pretty important information. If I was Windcharmer, I'd be picking up on this stuff.
Yeah, and that's one of those things I don't even have anything to add to that. It's just spot on. Spot on because again, Talim's one of those characters where if you don't know the matchup, right, or if you don't demonstrate that you have some semblance of knowledge when to duck, when to sidestep, what is punishable, the matchup can be quite overwhelming, especially if your opponent is Talim in Soul Charge and doing a move that can go multiple directions. It's a lot to deal with.
She's not necessarily a straightforward character. There's actually quite a handful. I would say that there are more characters that are not like that than there are characters that are like that. Like, I think the majority of the characters in this game, if you don't necessarily know what's going on, you can't necessarily just play it straight the whole time. I think you can play it straight against, like, Geralt. I think you can play it straight against, like, Mitsu. Those are the only characters that are coming to mind in terms of, like, if you don't know what's going on, it won't necessarily bother you all that much. Okay, actually getting the punish there. Tira already in red guard gauge, so that's bad news. But has 6. Make it 6 changes already. So now there's that break attack that I was talking about before. So, okay, Saiyne's gonna have to feel comfortable with just allowing... Oh, he gained too much damage. I think he wanted to just get out of there and not have the guard break happen, but now he lost the round and he still has to deal with the guard break. I think he should have just cashed it in. Just armor cash in that guard break.
And on top of that, he tried to punish the 6-6B from Talim. I think if he had just, again, if Talim lands that on... Oop, ring out.
The reason
that
why
ended so quickly.
I was just under the impression that RI was too late, it was too early. I thought that I'm actually kind of surprised that it had that amount of active frames there. But whoo-wee, that was a fast 2-0. So pretty rough.
I didn't even get a chance. It doesn't even matter.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
It's like I had a good
talk about. But now the match is over, so now it sounds like you're rambling about nothing.
Exactly, and I had a good point too. But we
will never find out what it is. If you guys want to find out what Carbon Clive had to say, keep donating to that match arena. We'll send a donation.
Hey guys, what was the score on that?
That was 2-0.
2-0? Okay. Thank you. Next up,
as fast as it gets.
Exander and Kashi.
This is probably a matchup that's happened quite a few times during COVID. Exander, we saw him play Survey again, but I'm still holding out that we get to see his Hilda at some point. Kashi, with Mitsu, making me shut right the hell up before. You know what? I'm going to stick to my guns, and I'm saying that he should pick Mina, and if he doesn't pick Mina, he's stupid. Come at me, Kashi. Prove me wrong, again. Exander...
Yeah, I think he's going to go with Cervantes for sure.
Oh, that's kind of a shame. I was interested in seeing Hilda. I don't actually know what Hilda does literally at all. So, and I kind of feel like I have a handle on what Cervantes does. Cervantes versus Mitsu. Again, maybe I'm just downplaying Mitsu, but again, I would imagine this is pretty difficult for Mitsurugi, just because he has the mix-up game over Survey, but the poking game and just the overall damage game, no. And it's also going to be especially difficult if Kashi doesn't actually put his hands on the controller.
And again, this stage, I would think it would benefit both players, but neither of them has really any space to as much space as they would desire to move around. But already I'm seeing Exander sort of use it to his advantage because, again, his movement has always been good. Cervantes is one of those characters that benefits from such solid movement.
Yeah, I would imagine that who actually wins out on this stage? I think nice step duck into an immediate punish. I think that who excels in this matchup or in this stage specifically all depends on if Exander is willing to do off the wall stuff with Cervantes. And considering what we saw so far with the first round, he doesn't seem to be all that interested in that. In which case, I would give this to Kashi's Mitsu, because I think the larger the stage is, the happier Exander will be.
Yeah, and you can tell he's trying to keep up the pressure, but this defense from Kashi is just super on point right now.
It's like literal type of step ducking. I think what Exander should do, it's a little bit difficult, what with the fact he doesn't have a life lead. Is that really going to punish? Gee whiz, and that's the second round. Okay, so Kashi's kind of playing on fire tonight. I think what's going to end up happening is that if Exander's going to continue with Cervantes, he needs to slow stuff down. He's trying to take bets as often as Kashi is taking bets, and it's just not working for him. So, for instance, exactly what we just saw there. So I'd be curious to see if Exander were to play it a little bit slower, backing up rather than going in, just trying to work off of stuff like A6. In fact, have we seen A6 at all? Does something happen to that move?
I don't.
Best move in the game or whatever? Ooh, somebody tried to go for something super fancy.
Ooh, into a command grab. This is good damage from Exander. But again, I guess he heard you. He's trying to slow it down here.
He had the bar in order to do that, though, so I'm curious to see if he's going to... Now he's going off the wall. This is one of those moments where I definitely feel like I might potentially be influencing the match, and so I feel self-conscious about it.
Oh, and a soul charge to interrupt that stance transition, but this... Exander could pull this out if he just keeps it...
Exander got 2 A6s and he didn't do A6B. Why did he just end the game? Alright, Exander, you're weird. You're a weird dude. Decides to keep the stage? I'm very confused. I'll have to talk to Exander about this later. Maybe there's something huge that I'm missing. but I don't think so. I don't know.
Just like you said, the only way would be if he's really going to use the walls to his advantage, but up until now, we have not seen him do that. I mean, I think he did it once.
Yeah, and that's it. Ooh, he tried to go for the big time. 1A, no punish on it. Ooh. Oh, that's interesting. 2B to beat out that stance, huh? Does that beat the armor? I don't know. Ooh, nice. Oh, no! What? Oh!
No.
He got 1B instead of 1-1B. That's what happened. It took me a while to figure it out. Okay. See, again, I don't necessarily agree with the idea of going in that situation. I know it ended up giving Exander that round, but I don't know, man. I mean, both characters can fight when they are up in each other's faces, right? Cervantes can fight at mid-range. Mitsu really kind of can't. So, I don't know. I'm confused. I'm not a Cervantes player. I'm not an expert on it. I would be very interested in hearing Exander's thoughts on why he's playing the matchup in the way he is.
And the other thing I've noticed too is one of Cervantes' key moves is, I believe it's 2A+B. That gives him the lethal hit off of the light attack, and every time he has gone for it, Kashi has countered.
That's 2A, yeah.
Yeah, and that is
the hardest way possible.
Yeah, and that is so unfortunate because not only does Cervantes get good damage off of it, he gets good Oki. If you block it, you're crouching, and it's just, if he's not able to utilize one of his best tools, you kind of end up with this.
Yeah, this is kind of a one-sided match so far as well. The previous match of Windcharmer and Saiyne was, and so I'm curious to see. Exander still has some time to bring it back, but again, I really feel like he has to slow a little bit more often.
And that was the first time we saw WoW Rising A.
Yeah, which is weird to hear from regarding Exander. See,
exactly.
Like he's running up and trying to catch the sidestep and everything. But if that's what you want to do, play a pressure character. I don't really consider Cervantes to be a pressure character. That was supposed to be a CE.
Yeah, and I mean, just like you said, again, with City, that is gonna be it.
We built with City on with punishment. Sorry, we're gonna get copyright frickin' because I'm singing so beautiful.
I can, but again, Kashi taking that 2-0 pretty convincingly, and I'm so surprised at how he was just able to just poke holes in Exander's game, and again, wasn't able to land 2A+B. We only saw WoW Rising A once. I mean, Kashi really just shut down all of his options.
See A6 all that much. I'm very confused. I don't know. Something might have been going on earlier today for Exander, or I'm just dead wrong and I'm just totally misunderstanding how that matchup should be played. I don't know. I don't think that I'm mistakenly thinking the matchup should go in with that to that severe degree. I'd be very interested to hear what Exander would have to say on that.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we're gonna get Rikuto and Incendiate.
Now, you want to talk about a match that we've seen quite a lot. Now, it's important to note. I was. I hope that Incendiate isn't listening to this, but Incendiate versus Rikuto in the 2v2 tournament did in fact happen. It was a 1-2, and Incendiate was, I'm gonna say, the least composed I've ever seen him. It was almost as if he wasn't even necessarily trying. He got upset really quickly, and let's all hope that he doesn't play the same way, because that was a very one-sided match, very similar to the matches that we've had so far in this winners quarters.
Oh wow.
All
He
right.
played X and Ivy on top of that, so.
Oh, he brought out he brought out the squad and still lost. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so he decides to go with Ivy. For the most part, I don't think he's a big fan of playing this match. Oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, I think the reason why he went X in yesterday's 2v2 tournament, as opposed to going with X right away in this one, is because yesterday's tournament was online. This is Parsa.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's what the difference is.
But again, he's been putting in work with these 1As. But finally, Rikuto catches on, shuts it down.
Astaroth's still pretty heavy. Now, Rikuto can play this kind of game if he wants. Okay, I was gonna say that Incendiate can kind of just hang back and build meter, but I guess he didn't want to. Okay, 2-2K into 2-2K into 2-2P. Incendiate being a jerk as always. And he lost.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing good with applying the pressure against the wall, but, you know, Rikuto had his number in that sequence.
That's the thing with Astaroth, right? When you talk about a pretty high damaging character. I will say that one of the things that I saw very often in the 2v2 tournament from yesterday was Incendiate going for a lot of command grabs, and Rikuto doing a pretty good job of breaking virtually all of them. So I'm curious to see if Incendiate decides to go for that kind of grapple game more often here or less. Looks like so far it's less. If he decides to go back to it, or if he decides to go for Summon Suffering. That's the one that's unbreakable, right? That's the name of it?
Yeah. Summon Suffering is unbreakable. But, you know, what I'm seeing here is Incendiate's really enforcing the low.
Rikuto.
Oh my god.
Rikuto, why? You haven't done this before? I mean, yeah, I got hit by that, like, back in Defend the North from, like, 2 years ago. I haven't gotten hit by it since. Why do you still get hit by that?
Ooh, nice while rising A, and he goes for it
no.
again. Oh my god.
I'm not even mad at Incendiate. This is what Incendiate should do. I'm mad at Rikuto. How do you not know this yet? How dare you? Uh-oh.
Oh, he did the not against the bull charge. I mean, if he went for the some of his other armor moves, the AA would have interrupted and given him the lethal hit, but not if he goes for the bull charge.
By the way, anybody notice that Astaroth basically killed Ivy with 2 soul charge hits, and when he was finished with that, he still had more soul charge? Like, he still could have done a 236A? That is the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, that's not going to actually connect. Now we have 2 more soul charges that you're going to have to deal with, Mr. Man. Oh,
and again, he's trying to do it again. I'm surprised.
Dude.
I'm surprised. It's not, I mean, it's not going to work. It has to be one of his other armor moves. It just wouldn't make sense for it to work on that particular move since it tech crouches.
How do you normally deal with this kind of matchup, would you say?
I try to keep Astaroth out.
Yeah.
I mean, even though Astaroth has really good range, I think compared to, Ivy has better. So I typically try to play the distance game, see how that turns out. But from what I'm seeing from Incendiate, he's trying to condition Rikuto.
Well, it looks like it at the end of that. I knew where you were going, and I agreed with it up until 14 seconds ago.
Yeah, but the one thing I would like to see Incendiate change, he is reading the armor attempt correctly, but he is using the wrong move. Now,
right. He's going for something that will have 2 hits really quickly and effectively beat armor that way, but the fact that the one hit is activating the armor and the second one is allowing him to tech route is making the AAB just unimportant.
Exactly, and that would have made a big difference in the last matchup.
Yeah.
So if he made that adjustment, I think he would, he would play better. And the other thing that I'm also noticing is, again, I think this is him just trying to condition Rikuto, but the 1As, I mean, he's gone for so many of them.
I wonder why.
It has to be him trying to condition.
Yeah, I feel like there's some sort of a statement that's trying to be made, but I don't think that is a move that Astaroth is particularly weak against. Rikuto isn't necessarily going for anything that's pretty high risk, high reward in that situation, but I don't think you necessarily need to. So that's going to be a quick 2 rounds for Rikuto in the second game. Incendiate is up a game due to some buffoonery from the first game. So we'll see if he's able to pull it off a little bit more this time around. He's got 2 bars. Signing to back off.
See, right at this range, we have yet to see a 6-6A out of Incendiate, which I'm so surprised by, because it would be a move that you would use to keep Astaroth out, and we have not seen it yet.
Yeah, I wonder why. Some odd stuff going on in the winner's quarters matches. I've got a tough time understanding the mentality of a lot of the players that we've had in winner's quarters. That doesn't happen to me very often. Oh, okay, that was supposed to be a solo attack, I think. He got flipped around or something, and so it screwed up with his inputs. Yeah, it's gonna be effectively safe. Yeah, you can't. Not when it's from Stan. So he didn't really have the frames to do anything that he wanted to do in that situation. So quick 1-1. So we'll see. Okay, we're gonna keep with the stage. We're gonna keep with the character.
And Incendiate wasn't able to land any command grabs during that.
Whoop! Never mind. We were actually gonna choose characters. he clicked OK too quickly. I guess we're supposed to actually see X versus Astaroth this time.
Or maybe this was part of his plan all along. No, it wasn't. Okay. He's going
Wow,
back to
even
Ivy.
I got baited. Of course, this guy won the 2v2 tournament yesterday on his own with nobody's help.
Right.
Yep. Gonna get the fountain stage.
And I would say this is good for both players.
It's okay. Yeah. It's about as neutral as it gets. This and the snow stage are pretty neutral. Decides to forego the punish on the Balba just to go for a command grab. We didn't see him go for command grabs virtually at all in the first two games. So,
No, he did. They all whiffed. They were all whiffed. And now they're actually landing. So I guess he's landing them when they actually count.
If it's first, you don't succeed, I guess. Oh, he could have gone for a crouch grab there. Ended up going for a 2K instead. 2K ends up winning out the day.
Yeah, and here we go. Going into the second round, and both players decide to back off.
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes sense. Both long-range characters, both defensive styles.
All right, and this is exactly where Rikuto wants to be, kind of in Ivy's face. But again, if he's going to go for the bull rush, one sidestep and that's it.
Yeah. Decides to go with the Soul Crush. Wow, that's even at that range, it didn't have the activation burst. Is he gonna try and spend bar? No. Oh, don't you dare. Okay, I was gonna say if he went for the unblockable again. Wow, that combo doesn't work on Astaroth, huh?
I'm confused as to why he even went for that combo. That's not typically the combo that I see from that sequence. Usually it's either like once you get the launcher followed by 4A into, I believe that's 6B, I don't know, the 6B8. But he went for 6B plus K afterwards, which I'm not used to seeing or doing myself. So it's something I think if Incendiate does it, it's real. Because that guy labs everything, so...
Yeah.
Actually might write that down and try to lab it. Maybe there's more damage that I didn't know about.
You can ask him about it.
Yeah. Oh, beleave me. Believe me.
You might be overthinking it, and then if you ask him about it, he'll just be like, oh, that was a mistake. You don't want to waste time in the lab on a mistake.
And look at what we're seeing from Rikuto. He is...
That's it.
As soon as he decides to turn up the offense...
He tried to go for the lethal hit because he got the lethal hit off of the 6K, which, with all due respect to Rikuto, was a little bit easy to spot.
Yeah, and then Incendiate takes that 2-1, all with Ivy.
It's not very often that you get to see Ivy CE have such effectiveness in neutral nowadays. Shades of when this game launched.
Oh, what glorious days were those?
Yeah, they were pretty awful. I think that if the game had stayed the way it was at launch, this would be a 3 to 5 character game. Because I can't understand, unless you really loved a different character, I can't think of a reason why you would play anybody other than Aswell, Raph, or Ivy.
That's very true. Very true.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Mina. Maybe. But, I mean, can you imagine Rikuto trying to play Launch Astaroth against Launch Ivy? Impossible. You don't even have any hitboxes. Astaroth just literally whiffs like combos. Like the second hit of a combo will whiff off it. Shoutouts to Launch Astaroth. That character was just the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life.
And I don't know what's happening here. Looks like we got a is it frozen?
Well, it's probably just going to be switching through.
It's not frozen.
I did that. That's me. I did that.
It's just they're just switching some stuff from the back end.
Next up is going to be Party Wolf versus RayVRC.
Okay.
Oh, again, Ivy back to back. Well, he might go Cassandra.
Yeah. Cass on Cass action?
Could be.
Maybe.
Could be.
I don't think that's what... I'd be willing to bet that it is going to be Cass versus Ivy, but, I've been wrong with basically every declarative statement I've said so far during this commentary.
Stream, real quick, once again, if you have a moment, make sure to check out the match Reno for this event. The promo code is save NLBC 159. You'll donate 50 cents to the prize pool completely free. Also, make sure you check out the special sponsor quest from Rig, G Fuel Energy, Twitter quests, YouTube quests, Twitch quests. There's tons of free ways for you guys to donate to this event. So make sure to use the free promo codes and sponsor quests. If you have a moment, go to the players, NYC Next Level, and to cover these Cloud Parsec instances. So we appreciate anything you can give. Take a second of your time.
Oh wait, I think this is
Yes, casual.
Yeah, but this is Zeph versus Lesson Lee, I think. A matchup that we saw on my stream earlier today, funnily enough.
Oh, who would you say was up on the mainstream, by the way?
So, this is going to be Party Wolf versus RayVRC. Party Wolf is on the One Piece side.
So curious to see if it's going to be Cass v Cass, Cass v Ivy. Technically speaking, Party Wolf could go into, you know, his cache of a gigantic amount of characters. I mean, we've seen him play in the Boominati League. We've seen him play a plethora of other characters. Seen him play Tira in the past. I've seen him play Ivy as well. Recently, he's been on an Astaroth kick. It looks like he's taking this one a little bit more seriously and going with straight Cassandra, just based on what I saw before. Okay, so he's going to go with Cassandra versus the Ivy. Definitely a matchup that I believe Party Wolf has quite a lot of experience in.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I would imagine it can be very difficult for. You mean we want to talk about sticky characters? This is a pretty sticky character.
Yeah, this is it's rough.
Mm-hmm.
It's really gonna depend on reads like that. To really like, Ivy has to get the momentum and she has to keep going with it in order to really do something in this particular matchup. But again, if Cass has the good read or the good sidestep or just the pressure, but Ray's putting up a hell of a fight right now.
Doesn't really matter if the Cassandra has the pressure if she doesn't have the grab breaks, huh?
Right.
I mean, Cassandra, not exactly a character that is want of wall risings and tech crouches. So at the very least, typically what I do with Amy in a matchup like against Ivy is I'm not necessarily looking to try and break the grabs. I'm trying to tech crouch under them because you don't even get anything for breaking CS, right? Like, you just don't get killed. So that's not necessarily the same thing as like a rewarding situation for you. So trying to be more proactive with choosing moves that are effectively going to beat out the CS on their own is a way I like to play when I'm playing a fast character.
Yeah, and I mean, Party Wolf's strategy, you can already see it, and this is shades of how he's always played this matchup, as I have witnessed, is to really just keep the distance and choose your moments to go in against Ivy, which would predictably be, you know, during a 6-6A with, or if she goes for 9B plus K, that gives you some time. And that's exactly what he's doing. But once he's in, he is just going to be careful about what buttons he presses, which is what he just did. And you know what's funny about this too is Ray also plays Cass. So I wonder what's going through his head. He's probably looking for those opportunities to duck or to Christmas tree when he can, you know.
Difficult to do Christmas tree nowadays, seeing as how he's been. If I remember correctly, it is less unsafe than it used to be, but the pushback has allowed it to be significantly easier to block punish. And for the most part, I think what Party Wolf is demonstrating in this match, which I really like, is exactly what I was talking about before, where Ivy is the kind of person who has to react to the opponent's character a little bit more often when they're really fast and safe. Is that going to catch?
Yes, it is.
So it's going to be 2 bars to 1. Still Party Wolf relatively ahead. No real guard break situations to be had from either character at the moment. So Party Wolf definitely one of those players, along with Zeph and Rikuto, come to mind of strong resource management. I love the immediate soul charge. Oh no! Thought it's too far away.
Oh no, but that back turn A is going to whiff as it just did. It's just a little bit. No, why would he whiff?
Got spaghetti going on right now. So much spaghetti automatically. Yeah. Ooh, the Beyblade beat out. That was smart. Tries to go for Beyblade number 2.
That. it makes me happy. Like, oh, there's an option.
I enjoy this new piece of information.
I just have to talk about that sequence that just happened right there. So much just happened. You know, I mean, that back turn, I believe that's 2A, B from Ivy, barely landed there. That only landed because Party Wolf was pressing buttons, because he probably thought that he only went for the back turn to it. Yeah. Just that whole sequence was just whoa. I mean, as you said, spaghetti. It's like the perfect
We
term
built
for it.
the spaghetti. Oh, sorry. I was doing it.
On with moves. There we go. See, we're working on. We got it. It's gonna
In
be
the sense
somewhere.
of I'm singing a song and you're singing a different one. But yeah, we're getting
Okay,
there.
okay, fine. You can have it.
No, I'm saying that we are getting somewhere. I'm just saying we have a lot more ways to go. Alright, ends up getting the Divine Force off of that grab yet again. There's plenty of ways that he could potentially win or lose. Okay, decides to go with the safe, just tip jam. Oh no! Is that it?
No.
Is this going to be the
you have
Oki?
to
Oh
reset. Yep.
no!
Yep.
That's a pretty tough Oki situation.
Yeah, and that was a good call to go for the reset, because if he had completed the combo, it absolutely would not have killed. So good good decision making for Ray.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, Party Wolf definitely got a lot of guard pressure going on that first time, but he seems to be having, as time goes on in this set, a little bit harder time traversing the obstacle course that Ivy can provide.
What a
RI can be
call
successful.
out.
It is RI for RI. Okay, triple RI
Oh my
situation
God.
there. And that's the way it is, because Stone Cold said so. So, Ray, 1 round away from continuing on in the winning bracket, beating Party Wolf of all people. Oh man, these reversal edges have had a surprising amount of success. I don't consider Cass to be a character that loses to RE all that often.
Yeah, and I'm still not even over the last sequence. I'm just like, I cannot. But not that I didn't think Ray wasn't capable of doing this well, but again, as an Ivy main myself, I fear the Cass matchup so much. I'm just blown away by how he's dealing with it. Versus Party Wolf, out of all people, you know what I mean? Like, he's
punish. I don't think that's going to be enough, but it's going to put him in a good Oki situation. Nice, okay. Ends up, looks like that was either supposed to be a CS that ended up getting botched, or a feint CS just in general. I noticed that when Party Wolf threads the needle of that 6-6A, he's not getting any kind of like damage that he's wanting. He's also not getting the -12 punishes that I think he's expecting. I can't tell if Party Wolf is upset, or there's some sort of weird connection issue, or what have you. Nice hit with the wall rising B. Oh, stay crouched there? That sucks. So much damage there. So much damage, and you're right back out.
oh, what a call out, going for the auto J. And again,
Yes, right?
that should be it. Nope.
Okay.
6-6 BB definitely threads that needle on the combo. But again, what really helped Ray out in this particular set versus Party Wolf was the Oki into the 3A+G grab. I mean, that did so much work for Ray against Party Wolf, and I'm really surprised by it.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't necessarily say what happened. I think something about just the overall rhythm that that Ray was able to pull out there was something that was just really screwing Party Wolf up. He wasn't able to figure out exactly when he was supposed to be pressing buttons. And when there were situations where he could press buttons, there was so much spaghetti involved in the situation that it really just threw him for too much of a loop.
Definitely. Good stuff to Ray. I'm going to go back and study that match, because one of the things I do enjoy about watching Ray is, you have your set of known Ivy mains, and something about Ray's playstyle just feels like a breath of fresh air for me personally, as someone who learns from watching a lot of Ivies play. His setups, how he adjusts between matchups, just such a joy to watch. Good stuff for him.
Yeah, it's a lot like me when I try to look at other Amy players that I respect and admire, like
Damn.
I said what I said.
Well,
Next question.
so
I assume this is going to be Thermidor versus somebody, but don't hold me to that.
That's a off-screen match. Okay, I had not managed to get the score for Incendiate versus Rikuto, so I'm just fixing that now.
Incendiate versus Rikuto was 2-1, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so winners semifinals. We're going into top 8. We almost have top 8. I gotta run a couple of matches before this, but on the top half, we got Incendiate versus RayVRC, and then Kashi versus Wind Charmer.
Okay. Are we going into losers now, or would we be having one of those matches currently?
We're gonna stick with winners for now.
Okay.
And then once losers catches up, we'll get to that. But while I'm getting these everything set up, Art, you want to talk about that match arena?
Yes, I will.